CA 2030. I think it is CA today. I would actually say it's not something that, I mean, 7 years later, I think accounting as we know it would have changed. आपको literally the entire environment, already it is so collaborative. आपका मुझे लगता है कि by then the entire accounting landscape will have changed so dramatically that literally I would think that people would like, आपको यहाँ पर अभी मेरे को लगता है कि अगले within the year या अगले साल में आ जाएगा, हम लोग तो खुद अपने सॉफ्टवेयर में ले आएंगे कि आपने यहाँ एंट्री करी RealBooks में ही, सामने वाला भी RealBooks का यूजर है, he should just be able to accept the entry and post the entry. I mean, I think there will be large scale changes in the way accounting is done, and technology will play a massive role. The government itself is obviously spending a lot of time and everything on improving and enhancing technology. I think with e-invoicing, GST, TDS, everything going online, return filing going online, I don't even think there is a choice that we have. I think going forward, whichever way you look at it, आपको डर लग रहा है कि नहीं मेरा डेटा क्लाउड पे चला जाएगा तो डिपार्टमेंट के पास आ जाएगा, या आपको डर लग रहा है कि मेरा डेटा कोई और एक्सेस कर लेगा, ये जो भी डर है वो सब डर तो आई थिंक हट जाएंगे. आई थिंक दीज आर ऑल मिथ्स दैट विल जस्ट गेट बस्टेड. In fact, we will share also some of these myths and what is the reality, and I think Neeraj will take you through that presentation. So Neeraj, if we've just prepared a short presentation, and maybe we'll spend 5 minutes taking you through RealBooks. Like Sumit ji mentioned, that we are a little bit like a Tally kind of product. The reason, again, what Neeraj, and it's sort of Neeraj's brainchild to a certain extent, is that you see, while as CAs we all might be happy to change and move forward, but the reality is that आपको हमेशा एक डर रहता है कि मेरा अकाउंटेंट क्या करेगा, अकाउंटेंट नहीं सीखेगा तो कौन क्या करेगा. तो हमने उसी को थोड़ा आसान बनाने के लिए हमने ऐसा बनाया जिसमें कि वो अकाउंटेंट को झमेला नहीं हुए करने का. So I think that's how we've done this. I think, but apart from that, I think Neeraj, like he's already been welcomed. I would like to hand it over to Neeraj. Neeraj was actually originally, I thought Neeraj will be taking the session, but Neeraj, I thought, Neeraj had a pranic healing class scheduled. I mean, he is also a fairly known pranic healing instructor in Eastern India. So, which is why I had sort of was filling in. But yeah, I think over to you, Neeraj, and to take this session forward. But thank you so much for the opportunity and the warm welcome we've got. And we look forward to a very, very interactive session.
Thank you, Anurag. Just before Neeraj starts, so what you're saying is RealBooks maybe also looking into blockchain, wherein the other party is accepting the transactions?
Yeah, I think that I don't think it's a choice, Neeraj ji. I think ये सब में ना अब आपको टेक्नोलॉजी को अडॉप्ट करना पड़ेगा. आप अगर सोच रहे हैं कि हम बैंकिंग को अलग रखेंगे, नहीं बैंक से ऑनलाइन नहीं जाएंगे या हम ये नहीं करेंगे, आई डोंट थिंक ये सब अब चॉइस है किसी के पास. You have to move, you have to evolve. I think मतलब अभी जो सिचुएशन है, and I was reading this in 2022 there were 72 billion digital payments. Okay, that is the number. So I don't think आपके पास चॉइस. आप ये सोचिए कि अल्टीमेटली अकाउंटिंग तो एक पोस्टमार्टम में आप एंट्री कर रहे हैं, which there is no money involved. When you are trusting your money to be online and transacted online, why should you even think that accounting should not be online? I mean, that should be natural for you कि accounting तो online ही होना चाहिए.
Right? That is really innovative, and I welcome this idea of yours, wherein you are getting this concept. Very good.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, I mean, the history we've evolved. हम लोग अभी तक मुझे मालूम है मेरे फादर के यहाँ वो बही खाता, वो हर दिवाली पे हम लोग लिखते थे श्री गणेश जी महाराज के, वो पूरा एक 4 लाइन लिख के वो नई बही रेडी करते थे, and all that's over. We moved from there to Tally, and now from Tally to online, obviously. So I think that is the shift that is happening. Yeah. So Neeraj, over to you.
Yeah, I mean, what we anticipate in the future, already OCR is coming, so your documents are being uploaded on the cloud. So we are also experimenting, and I'm sure other companies must be experimenting, where when you upload documents, entries अपने आप हो जाए. Already सारे softwares आजकल banking integration कर लिए हैं. We have also integrated with ICICI Bank, where you can make payments directly from the system. GST के सारे integrations होने लग गए हैं, so everything can be done from the software itself. And there will come a time where if I am making a payment entry, you should get a receipt directly imported in your system. If I'm making a purchase and sale entry, you should actually just accept the payment and your system should just accept an accounting अपने आप हो जाना चाहिए. Already chat GPT आ रहा है. So if you're doing, if your salesman is just on the road, he will click a picture, bought this from this person and accounting entries through chat system. अपने आप हो जाएगा. So these are great areas to explore. And as we have more momentum coming on the online, suddenly online market में बहुत कुछ open up होने लग जाएगा. We have not at all seen AI and ML in accounting as of now. अभी तक सब चीज, क्योंकि जब टैली में हम लोग वर्क करते हैं तो everything is when your data is only with you. The moment you go onto the cloud with access to so much of data, the machine learning and artificial intelligence can bring up great insights from that data, and that is another revolution that should happen in the next 2, 3, 4 years. That's what we are anticipating. That is as far as technological upgrade is concerned from a cloud perspective. So अगर आप historically देखेंगे, we've come from a sign where books हम लोग हाथ से maintain करते थे. And if you remember, I remember sitting with my dad and हम लोग audit जब करते थे तो balance sheet, and पापा बोलते हैं कि balance sheet and P&L बनाने के लिए they would spend hours so that balance sheet and P&L would match. आजकल entry करते हैं, balance sheet P&L matching का concept खत्म है. In the same way, there will come a time where, because of the collaborative nature of the internet, everything should double entries नहीं होनी चाहिए. अगर एक जन ने सेल एंट्री कर दी है तो दूसरे का पेमेंट एंट्री अपने आप हो जाना चाहिए. Ideally, that's how it should be, and that is only possible to a large extent with internet and cloud. So cloud is the future. Cloud is the future for sure. With the integration happening with banks, integration happening with government portals on compliances, and the integration happening on payment links, integration happening with different operational systems, everything should just talk to each other. Integration with CRM, the accounting system should essentially talk to other systems, and that is easily possible with the online accounting system. So, who are we? Anurag has given a lot of background already, and if we are a mutual appreciation club, I can also go about Anurag and Anurag can go about me, I feel. So we will not spend time there. RealBooks was started with the idea, it's an online accounting application. We made the online accounting application similar to Tally because जितने भी CAs हैं, जितने भी आज की मार्केट है, majority वो आपके Tally से familiar है. So imagine करिए अगर आपको Excel है आपका, already people इतने comfortable है Excel से, तो Google ने क्या किया? Google ने भी Google Sheet बनाया, which is similar to Excel, so that there is no relearning and retraining of accounting concepts and the way accounting is done in the software. तो अगर आप Excel से सीधा Google Sheet पे जाते हैं, the concepts of row and column and the numbers and the sum ifs and the VLOOKUPs are absolutely same. The learning curve is not there. In the same way, when you move out from Tally into RealBooks, there is no steep learning curve because we've kept the concept of Tally has done a great job to bring people onto software. Now, what we want to do is continue on that journey and take people from Tally, which is an offline system, into an application which is an online system, without having to relearn how accounting is being done in the software. तो हमने कोशिश किया है कि कुछ जो हमारी स्क्रीन्स हैं, जो हमारे वे वी अकाउंटिंग इज डन, वो टैली से सिमिलर रहेंगे ताकि आपको लर्निंग नहीं करना पड़ेगा. एंड कंपनियों में भी अगर उनके अकाउंटेंट्स हैं तो उनको सॉफ्टवेयर को रीलर्न नहीं करना पड़ेगा. It's a very smooth kind of a journey from Tally, which is offline, into RealBooks, which is online, and we've kept the screens similar. What has been the journey so far for us? 2010-11, we were using technology, and I was with my dad doing accounting and auditing. Auditing में when I joined my dad, I felt कि हम लोग जितना fast grow कर सकते थे उतना fast grow नहीं कर रहे. And that being said, more for Calcutta, maybe not in Bangalore, ऐसा नहीं होता. So उतने opportunities नहीं मिल रहे थे, and I was always a techie. So we felt कि कोई ना outsourcing शुरू किया जाए. तो हम लोग ने outsourcing का काम शुरू किया, and we were using Tally at that moment in time. Anurag भी आया था तो हम लोग ने कुछ करते हैं, हम लोग चलो outsourcing शुरू करते हैं अपन. So we tried to do outsourcing on Tally, and we were struggling to give the right reports. We were struggling to make sure that accounting entries were being done properly. So वहाँ पे फिर idea आया कि why don't we make a document management tool and integrate in the accounting system so that outsourcing and accounting are kind of in the same system, married to each other. And that is where the idea of outsource accounting software came कि हमको एक basic accounting बनाना पड़ेगा and हम लोग document management उसमें inbuilt करेंगे. अब जब जैसे जैसे हम लोग उसका काम शुरू किए, आउटसोर्सिंग की अपॉर्चुनिटीज बहुत आ रहे थे, क्लाइंट्स बहुत आ रहे थे, एंड दे केप्ट आस्किंग फॉर फीचर्स व्हिच वर सिमिलर टू टैली, एंड वी kept building those features, and then एक proper accounting product ही बन गया हमारा by the year 2015. And then we started giving it out. We went aggressive with our marketing on outsourcing, and we started giving out the software as well. 2017 तक हम लोग ने पूरा सॉफ्टवेयर को रिलीज ही कर 15 से 17 में हम लोग का अच्छा खासा वेस्ट बंगाल में फोकस ज्यादा था, बिकॉज उस समय वैट वगैरह था. हम लोग दिल्ली का वैट सिस्टम बनाए थे, 2-3 स्टेट का ही बनाए थे हम लोग. एंड देन जीएसटी केम इन, दैट ओपन द विंडो फॉर अस टू गो टू पैन इंडिया. एंड देन कोविड हैपेंड इन 2019-20. इससे पहले people were a little skeptical on the online accounting system, but with COVID happening, people realized they need to be online. Because जो भी people RealBooks पे थे, they did not have to stay without their books, access to books, and without accounting for even a single day. People जो लोग online work करना चाहते थे, they worked, and all of our clients appreciated at that moment in time that decision. Also they कि उन लोग online में काम करना शुरू कर दिए. So COVID changed a lot of things for us also. Suddenly we saw a lot of traction coming in from CAs and from businesses which were earlier a little skeptical कि online data हम कैसे दें. The COVID made them adopt online much more, and we are seeing a great traction from CAs, a great traction from businesses now. जो पहले एक resistance feel होता था, that is not there anymore. So suddenly the COVID really changed that for us a lot. What are we anticipating? We recently got funded. So with this fund coming in, जो एक crunch रहता है कि you're always trying to increase, make your company self-funded, and therefore मेहनत करो एक एक क्लाइंट के पीछे ताकि रुपया तुरंत आए, तो उसमें बहुत फाइन ट्यूनिंग एप्लीकेशन नहीं बन पाता है. With the funding coming in, now we can focus much more on expanding marketing, sales, and fine-tuning and making the product look more polished. That's what we are now focusing on. That has been so what does RealBook have to offer? We have integrations with WhatsApp and SMS and email. आप सारे अपने invoices and due bills वगैरह easily communicate कर सकते हैं. We have integration with Dropbox. आपके documents जो हैं Dropbox से clients के office into RealBooks directly आ सकते हैं. So the communication to your customers, vendors from a business perspective and from a outsourcing perspective, clients के documents को RealBooks में import करना बड़ा आसान है. You can do it direct drag and drop also. We can do it via Dropbox as well. बहुत सारे because businesses आपको control दे रहे हैं, आपको अपने employees को control देना होगा for data entry. There are a lot of permissions that are there in the system. आप अपने accountants को, अपने article clerks को आप दे सकते हैं कि आप कितना access देना है उनको, from with respect to data and with respect to page permissions as well. We've recently done, as we mentioned, ICICI Bank integration, so we can easily integrate आप payments directly RealBooks के अंदर से payments आप कर सकते हैं. We have done a lot of work with auto dealers. So we have done a lot of integrations with Maruti, Kia, Toyota, Mahindra. All of those integrations have happened. We have done integrations with logistic softwares. We are recently doing integration with Amazon and Flipkart for reconciliation. We have also done work with Swiggy for their reconciliation. We have done some work earlier. So there's a lot of integration that is possible because of the cloud accounting nature. So we can make life very easy for people. Documents can be attached, as I mentioned, and go green. So we have a company which has gone, this was their mandate. It's a big stockbroking company. उनका मैंडेट था कि मेरे को अपना ऑफिस पूरा पेपरलेस बनाना है, none of my पेपर मेरे ऑफिस में मूव नहीं करना चाहिए. So and they chose RealBooks. What they did was इन्होंने एक पियोन को रखा जो दिन भर अपना सारा डॉक्यूमेंट्स उनके एक डॉक्यूमेंट के चेंबर में जाता है, वहां पे डॉक्यूमेंट की नंबरिंग होती है और डॉक्यूमेंट हम लोग के सिस्टम में अपलोड कर देते हैं, एंड दैट्स इट. ऑल अप्रूवल्स बिफोर द डॉक्यूमेंट इज एंटर्ड फॉर अकाउंटिंग एंट्री, पहले डॉक्यूमेंट को अप्रूव किया जाता है, डॉक्यूमेंट को RealBooks में डाला जाता है, उसकी पेमेंट के लिए वापस एक अप्रूवल सिस्टम प्रोसेस किया जाता है. So if somebody wants to go completely paperless, it is all possible on RealBooks. We have a live use case for that, where the big client wanted to have a paperless office, and he was able to make his office completely paperless. As you mentioned, COVID से पहले there was this inhibition for online. COVID के बाद काफी traction आया है. अभी भी 100% लोग on board नहीं आए हैं online के. But that is because some of the things that they feel is the myths that are being carried around online. पहला, सबको लगता है कि अकाउंटिंग एप्लीकेशन ऑनलाइन एक्सपेंसिव है, बट अगर आप प्राइसिंग को कंपेयर करेंगे बिटवीन टैली एंड और जोहो और RealBooks, आप नोटिस करेंगे कि इट्स वेरी कंपेटिटिव. एंड सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है कि आपकी डेटा ऑलवेज सिक्योर्ड रहती है, आपकी डेटा प्रोटेक्टेड रहती है, बिकॉज वी आर डूइंग कंटिन्यूअस बैकअप्स ऑफ द डेटा. डेटा कैन नेवर गेट लॉस्ट.
Can I interrupt you, Neeraj, once? I'll just tell you. Just to just touch upon the pricing. So, RealBooks single user is actually free for all, everyone, and it is and for multiple entities, multiple companies. So, if today anyone wants to create RealBooks, it is completely free. That is one. Secondly, even for CAs, we have a very, very competitive 5 users for 5,000 rupees a year kind of way, wherein you can give it to your office, you can do a lot of outsourcing, you can give access to your clients as well. So it's a very, very economical package. I mean, honestly, this is actually a really, really big myth that online होएगा तो महंगा होएगा. Online आज के दिन genuinely आप अगर सोचेंगे, आपको Gmail फ्री में 15 GB का डेटा स्टोरेज दे देता है, आपसे कोई पैसे नहीं मांगता है. जो एंटरप्राइज एडिशन है या जो कंपनीज जो यूज करते हैं उनसे पैसा मांगता है, बट द वर्ल्ड ओवर मोस्ट यूजर्स यूज इट फॉर फ्री. उन लोग का कुछ तो स्ट्रेटेजी होएगा. सो द रियलिटी इज ऑनलाइन इज नॉट एक्सपेंसिव. इट्स जस्ट पीपल थिंक कि ऑनलाइन है तो एक्सपेंसिव होगा. इट्स नॉट ट्रू एट ऑल. इट्स एक्चुअली मच more. It is the contrary. You can actually, it is cheaper. You don't need to maintain backups. You don't need to worry about network. You don't need to have some networking. I mean, all of you must be having 5, 6, 7 articles in your organization. You must be having multiple users. They work on a single LAN network. उसके पीछे कहीं network गड़बड़ हो गया, networking कराओ, ये कराओ, वो सब, all of that goes out of the window. It is actually far, far, far more economical to go online than to be offline. Yeah. Sorry, Neeraj. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes.
So will you be demonstrating a small case study kind of stuff कि कैसे ये automatic integrate हो जाएगा into books?
How we will take you through a short demo of the product. Specific integrations in terms of Excel uploads, etc. We've not really. I think we'll just figure out if we can. I'll just check quickly and maybe we can show you maybe something on those lines.
So that actually, मतलब वो दिमाग को बहुत अच्छा capture करता है कि this can be a very good way to.
हाँ, ठीक है. We'll work on that. I will. Neeraj, if you can continue, I will get this organized in the background, please.
Excel import, क्या?
Yeah, Excel import maybe, and maybe one more thing. I'll get that import. Yeah.
जैसे आपने बोला ना सर, Dropbox पे डेटा रहेगा तो ऑटोमेटिक सिंक कर लेगा या वैसे anything which show that it's more automation.
Sure. We'll be able to show you also कि डॉक्यूमेंट कैसे ड्रैग ड्रॉप से अटैच हो जाता है, अप्रूवल्स, वर्कफ्लोज कैसे क्या ट्रिगर होते हैं. We'll be able to show you. Yeah, we'll do that. Don't worry. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we can handle very large volumes of data. As we mentioned that we have a lot of auto dealers and larger companies on board. So another thing that happens with cloud accounting is it empowers you to handle large data sets, lakhs of data sets. And क्योंकि आपको सारे cloud की power मिलती है compute करने के लिए. So what is आपका एक single PC पे जो काम होता है versus अगर आप एक cloud पे काम करते हैं तो that उसका magnitude different हो जाता है. So we can handle lakhs of data in RealBooks without any hassles. imports, सारे के सारे transactions को आप import कर सकते हैं, opening balances, masters, transactions, all of them can be imported directly into RealBooks via Excel files, and the imports are सारा हम लोग import का हम लोग history maintain करते हैं, किसने import किया, आप उसके Excel फाइल को फिर से डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं, उसे क्या entries हुई, क्लिक करके आप उस import का क्या क्या transactions post हुआ, all that can be seen in the system. Yeah, and as you mentioned, we try to keep it as similar for the online thing. Keep tally से ज़्यादा challenge ना हो move करने के लिए. So everything on RealBooks can be done via keyboard. You don't have to touch the mouse because जो लोग power users होते हैं tally के, जैसे कि जो power users हैं Excel के, they want to just use keyboard which is much faster. तो Google ने भी क्या किया है कि सब कुछ को आपने shortkeys के through access दे दिया है Google Sheet में. In the same way we've done in RealBooks, you've got shortkeys to access all the commands. So you don't have to really leave the keyboard and move to the mouse. आप सीधा keyboard से सारा काम कर सकते हैं. Yeah, so that's what it is. So what are the key features that we have? It is hosted on RealBooks is hosted on AWS. It has all the entire cloud ka power. We have approvals on the system. We have these dashboards to give you live data. कि आपका कितना sales हुआ है, कितने customers हैं. Tally से migration बड़ा easy है. So you can migrate your data, existing data from Tally. You can even import last 2-3 years of data from Tally into RealBooks and see it on the mobile. ये हमारा जो data online रहेगा, mobile phone का उस पर reporting instantly दिखाई देगा. So you have access to that. Now we are going to, we just recently integrated bank. हम लोग mobile phone में भी वो bank payment का integration system से ही कर देंगे. That's a project that we've taken up. We've on जो हम लोग का web application है, is integrated with ICICI Bank. We are going to integrate the mobile phone as well. Document management. So जैसे आप यहाँ पे देख रहे हैं, the document is shown right next to the entry. This is what something that I had picked up when I was working and doing my audit for PwC. जहाँ पे हर चीज को they wanted the evidence to be filed, everything to be filed, and they had this LIFO system, left and right out, where every page was indexed and linked to the trial balance. So आप trial balance से all the way down तक आप paper के trail को देख सकते थे. और Tally में भी आपके पास trial balance से आप transaction तक लिंक है आपका, पर ट्रांजैक्शन के बाद उसकी डॉक्यूमेंट के को आपके पास कोई विजिबिलिटी नहीं रहती है. यहाँ पे हमने पूरे जो एविडेंस होती है जिसकी बेसिस पे एंट्री हुई है, वो एंट्री पूरा का पूरा डॉक्यूमेंट आप यहाँ पे देख सकते हैं. एंड दिस डेटा यू कैन स्टोर हिस्टोरिकली फॉर 5 years, 8 years. सो इमेजिन करिए 3 साल बाद अगर आपका कोई आईटी डिपार्टमेंट से कोई क्वेरी आया, और यू डोंट हैव टू हंट फॉर फाइल्स की डॉक्यूमेंट कहाँ मिलेगा. In the RealBooks itself, you will be able to see all the documents that you need and give reply to the queries. That is possible. Everything is permissioned, extensively permissioned. There is a page permission. You can date permissions. कौन सा date से entry allowed है? 1st April के बाद allowed है. At 1st January के बाद allowed है. Create का permission and edit का permission अलग है. IP restrictions है. अगर आप चाहते हैं कि आपके सॉफ्टवेयर खाली आपके ऑफिस से एक्सेस होनी चाहिए आपके लोगों के से, तो आप उसमें हर यूजर के ऊपर आईपी दे सकते हैं कि वो यूजर कहाँ से एक्सेस करेगा. दैट इज पॉसिबल. पीरियड लॉक्स है. अगर आपकी एक पीरियड खत्म हो गई है, ऑडिट हो गई है, तो उसको आप लॉक कर दीजिए. द डेटा विल नॉट चेंज. सो देयर आर लॉट ऑफ परमिशंस एंड लॉक्स बिकॉज इट इज ऑन द क्लाउड. इट इज ऑन अ कोलैबोरेटिव एनवायरनमेंट. वी डोंट वांट गिविंग पीपल परमिशन, मोर परमिशन देन दैट इज नेसेसरी, सो दैट योर डेटा इज सेफ एंड सिक्योर. Branch accounting, again, since it's a collaborative environment, one of the obvious features that accounting system should have is अगर आप 2 जगह से ऑपरेट कर रहे हैं, आप कलकत्ता में हैं और आपकी दिल्ली में भी ब्रांच है, and you want Delhi branch to do their own entries, Calcutta branch to do their own entries, and the data should consolidate by itself. This is what RealBooks does. So you can have 50 branches, 100 branches, and RealBooks will be able to handle that kind of consolidation, because we are already have companies with 60, 70, 80 branches who are using RealBooks. We have one more logistic company which has about 130 branches, and they are using RealBooks, and consolidation happens real time for them. So that's another thing. Cloud empowers you to work across geographical locations, and it gives you a single view of your books. That is possible mostly on cloud.
I'll just add one thing on the branches, actually, that we've had one conversation with ICAI in their Delhi in the central office regarding this, because I think आप लोग का जो Oracle का जो software है, which ICAI is trying to implement across the entire country, that is not getting implemented because the branches are still using Tally, etc. So we've actually had one round of discussion. So the branch accounting is a very key thing, and which is not available in most softwares as easily as the way we have designed it, etc. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So another thing that we can do is we have notifications for every entry. So let's say आपके कोई नया article आया, आप उसको entry कराना चाहते हैं, you're not confident what entry is doing. So you can say, okay, if this guy does an entry in your system, all these entries should come on your email for the next 5-7 days. So जब भी वो entry करेगा या edit करेगा, उस voucher का copy आपके mobile में as an entry दिख जाएगा आपको. So you can kind of monitor also कि उस लोग क्या entry कर रहे हैं. So there are notifications on every transaction that is possible to deal with. We can have notifications being sent out to the customers. So let's say आपने invoice raise किया, आप चाहते हैं जैसे आप invoice raise करेंगे वो customer के पास चला जाना चाहिए. So that is also possible कि आप customer के पास उसको भेज सकते हैं. We want integration to happen. Let's say आप entries कर रहे हैं and you want all your invoices to be synced with CRM. तो जब भी यहाँ पे invoice raise होगा, हम लोग के पास यहाँ पे callback URLs है. आप उस URL को call कर सकते हैं, वो हमारी entry उस URL को call करके API के वाया आपके डेटा को वहाँ पे पोस्ट कर देगी, so that the other systems can remain updated. So notifications are there. It can be sent out to people, to emails, SMSs. We've done WhatsApp integration. We'll soon do a WhatsApp integration to send out data. One of our clients are asking, can we get some of the reports on WhatsApp? It's easier to see. तो हम लोग yes, we can do that. So that's where the scheduled reports come in. कि हम लोग reports के भी हम लोग का scheduler है. So we can say, okay, every evening 8 बजे हमको PNL चाहिए. Every evening 9 बजे मेरे को 8 बजे मेरे को debtors report चाहिए. So this can go out on emails currently. We will do a WhatsApp integration as well for it to go out. GST filing, we've integrated a GST network. सारे के सारे GST के डेटा हम लोग डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं for 2B reconciliation, and 2B reconciliation automated है हमारा. And then you can also directly post from RealBooks GSTR1 data into the GSTN site, and e-way bill integration है हमारा. So e-way bills can be generated via RealBooks as well. So
invoicing as well. Yeah, invoicing as well.
e-way bill and
so entire जो GST का आपका जो ecosystem में जो भी चाहिए रहता है, we kind of automated all of that.
Yeah, so that is already working, and on GST, one more thing is there that we can handle, because we can handle branch accounting and the branches are pan India. So we are also having multi GST into a single company, single application. So अगर आपकी multiple GSTs हैं, दिल्ली की अलग है ली हुई, आपकी कलकत्ता की अलग ली हुई है, कर्नाटका की अलग ली हुई है, तो आप सिंगल कंपनी में ब्रांच को चूज करके या ट्रांजैक्शन पे आप GST का एंटिटी को चूज करके आप कहाँ पे उसको रेज कर GSTR1 का करना चाहते हैं या 2 का करना चाहते हैं, आप ट्रांजैक्शन में चूज कर सकते हैं राइट फ्रॉम द एंट्री इटसेल्फ. TDS पूरी TDS की रिपोर्ट निकल जाती है. जैसे आप एंट्री करेंगे TDS ऑटोमेटेड भी आ जाती है. अगर आप TDS रूल्स को अप्लाई कर देते हैं RealBooks में, अगर आपके अकाउंटेंट्स या आर्टिकल क्लास कुछ एंटर करते हैं, नॉट श्योर वेदर दे आर ऑन देयर कॉम्पिटेंस, तो आप TDS रूल्स एनेबल कर दीजिए, तो एंट्री में अपने आप TDS रूल्स आ जाएंगे एंड TDS की रिपोर्ट्स भी अपने आप निकल जाएंगी. Yeah, so those are the features that we have. Anurag, do we need to show them a demo, quick demo? दिखाना है?
Yeah, we just quickly show a demo. Yeah, we'll actually quickly show a demo. Either you can do it or Rahul can quickly run through the demo as well. That's also fine. How are you doing on time, Sumit ji?
So we have approximately 10-15 minutes, sir. No worries.
Okay, cool. So so if we in the meantime, if there are any questions, we would like to, I mean, we are more than happy to sort of take those questions as well, and we'll in the meantime just show the demo as well. So
yeah, so Rahul, you want to show the demo or should I show the demo?
So I believe, sir, once we show the demo, probably more thoughts would or questions would be provoked.
ठीक है, sure. Okay. So
Yes, I can do
Neeraj,
that.
your call. If you want to go ahead, Neeraj, you can show the demo. Maybe Rahul can just guide you एक आध चीज में जो Excel वगैरह जो है अपना demo में, वो Rahul can guide you on that.
हाँ, because मेरे पास अभी Excel sheet नहीं है demo के लिए, but that's okay.
हाँ, ठीक है. हाँ, so you can just quickly show the demo and Rahul will just guide you. यहाँ पर है.
So, as I mentioned, we have kept the layout and the mental just हर चीज का एक mental map होता है. So we kept the mental map similar to Tally so that the learning curve is not very high. So अगर आप देखोगे यहाँ पे master transaction report is what you see in Tally. उसमें accounts and inventory का 2 main group आ गया आपका. So the learning is faster. Accounts अगर आप देखोगे तो create, view, edit, delete हमने सबका अलग अलग दी है. Ledger में create, view, edit, delete हमें similar दिया है ताकि navigation में आपको नया mental map नहीं बनाना पड़ेगा. It just comes here directly.
In
So
fact,
this
it is
is
completely keyboard driven. I think that's one thing that I will highlight. It is RealBooks is completely keyboard driven. So if you do tilde and 2, it will open up the trial balance. I mean, the shortkeys are different, but the idea being that most accountants don't like to use the mouse. In fact, the first time we implemented RealBooks, we kind of faced rejection कि नहीं सर हम लोग को तो आदत है इतना बार एंटर दबाएंगे इतना बार ये करेंगे हम लोग को मालूम है क्या करना है. So we said, no, fine, we will make it keyboard driven because that is something people are used to. You don't change too many habits. You can change certain things. You are moving from offline to online is already a habit change. Now, if I tell you कि आप online to offline भी आप manual से automatic भी जाइए और left hand drive, right hand drive से left hand drive भी जाइए और ये भी करिए वो सब चीज change कर देंगे तो आदमी बोलेगा मुझे driving ही नहीं करना है. So that is the idea behind this. So we don't want to change too many things there. But yeah, Neeraj, why don't you? So
we have ledger group and ledger is similar to the existing system of Tally. यहाँ पे हम लोग additional हमने कुछ innovations किए हैं. So यहाँ पे यहाँ permission यहाँ पे नहीं enabled है क्या? Okay. So
इसमें ये वाले में हाँ यहाँ पर आ जाता है ना. हाँ.
When the ledgers are being created under the ledger group, do you have to make the cost center mandatory? Do you have to make the bill applicable mandatory or optional? Or it has to be skipped? Whether the party bank details have to be made mandatory or not? PAN has to be made mandatory or not? Are we using ledger code system? So based on certain what the client wants, you can make certain fields and certain that dimensions mandatory for the person who's creating the master. उसको save करना ही पड़ेगा. And then we have this ledger master. Ledger master में we have sorry, click नहीं हो रहा था. So ledger master में ledger name, ledger group, similar again. Ledger category, whether tax अगर होगा तो tax का ledgers में obviously the fields are different versus अगर party है तो party का fields are different. तो system अपने आप उसको adjust कर लेता है. पार्टी इन्फो रजिस्ट्री वगैरह का पूरा डेटा यहाँ पर उसके मल्टीपल एड्रेसेस अगर हमको सेव करना तो मल्टीपल एड्रेसेस वी कैन बी सेव्ड ओवर हियर. सो प्राइस लिस्ट वगैरह अटैच किया जा सकता है. इंटरेस्ट कंप्यूटेशन कर सकते हैं अपने. इनवॉइसिंग करना है क्या, बिल्स एनेबल करने हैं क्या, और दैट इज अ सिंपल yes no flag. So then we have this cost category, cost center, FX, multi-currency. We can have tag is an innovation that we have done, so I'll not go there. उसको क्या tag का क्या system है हमारा. Voucher permissions, voucher के पूरे configuration, budgets, TDS के rules को define करना, all that stuff is over here. Schedule करना, अगर आपको reports का भेजना है, approvals का definition over here. So I'll just show you the approval का definition. So we can say कौन सा user कौन से branch में कब voucher में कौन से ledger में entry करेगा, उसके basis पे कौन user उसको approve करेगा. So the approval should it refire after the final approve? Should you allow any voucher to be updated once it has been approved or not approved? यहाँ पे rule से control हो सकता है. So let's say if approval has been done and you don't want the edits to happen after that, we don't click this and the edits will not be allowed. So those kind of controls are available.
So I'll just add here the entire approval thought process has been to make it somewhat like SAP or like these larger ERPs, wherein you can actually define how you want the transactions to flow, who should be able to do what kind of entries, उसको क्या type of approval चाहिए, एक level चाहिए, 3 level चाहिए, all of that we've just made it a lot more here. I think Neeraj, maybe we can do one thing. We can maybe go through the trial and show the actual drill down of the entire thing. You want to give me access, Neeraj, once, if possible?
Can I give you?
Yeah.
1 second. Control. No, मैं अभी मेरे को सेटिंग चेंज करना पड़ेगा, मैक में टाइम लग जाएगा.
Oh, नहीं, इसमें Zoom में access नहीं होता है क्या? Oh, अच्छा, anyways, don't problem. Just carry on. So, yeah, so this has been designed with the same shift enter functionalities that you can shift enter and you can drill down entirely to the end entry. So, yeah.
Ledger Group Professional. Document किसमें attached हो? Rahul?
सर इनपुट जीएसटी में चले जाइए, एजीएसटी 18% उसमें मिल जाएगा.
Yeah, ऊपर.
हाँ.
Not here, Neeraj.
करंट लायबिलिटी में.
1 second. So I can. IPST. Input में क्या?
हाँ सर, इनपुट में चले जाइए.
Yeah, just press enter. Yeah.
So यहाँ पे इस तरह से आपके यहाँ पे clip sign आ जाता है if something is attached. So we
Neeraj,
can
your
kind of,
screen is not showing. Your screen is not showing. I think you only shared. Yeah. So I'll just 1 second. I think you'll. You have to share your entire screen. तो आपका pop-up नहीं खुल रहा था. हाँ.
okay, this is the ledger report. You can see the clip sign where you can see the attachments आते हैं. आप ledger report से सीधा attachment देख सकते हैं. यहाँ पे click करके it downloads the data from Amazon servers and it shows it over here. क्या आप खोल के भी इसको देख सकते हैं. So यहाँ पे एंट्रीज आ गई आपकी, पीडीएस कंप्यूटेशन की ऑटोमेशन है यहाँ पे, एंड ये आपका एंट्री डॉक्यूमेंट जो दिख जाते हैं. if these entries अगर आपका we can lock them up based on certain rules. So यहाँ पे क्योंकि अप्रूव हो चुका है, अप्रूवल में इसमें एडिट अलाउड नहीं है, तो इसलिए वर्कफ्लो के कारण ये लॉक किया है. So we can see why this entry has been locked and I'm not allowed to edit this entry anymore. Let's say आपने जीएसटी कि आपकी GSTR 1 में आपने फाइल कर दी है invoices and you don't want, once the GSTR 1 has been filed with the government, you don't want them to be edited. So we can lock this entry over here. एक बार GST में आपकी फाइलिंग हो गई, आपकी एंट्री लॉक हो गई, you can stay in peace. Nobody is going to touch that data again. आपकी BRS हो गई and you once a BRS has happened, you don't want those edits to happen. So सब locks आप different तरह के locks आप लगा सकते हैं system पे for data safety, data security. This is where the documents are seen.
You can have multiple documents. You can have 5, 10, 15 documents also in an entry. There's no restriction on all that. Yeah. So whether it's a purchase screen, sales screen, whatever it is, all of that.
Yeah. इसमें भी एक ही फाइल है, ठीक है. तो अगर आप देखो similar to,
but you can add a new file. Neeraj, you can just drag and add a new file if you want. Yeah.
Let me check if I have one. I had not prepared for the demo. I'm sorry. So I will drag and drop a PDF. PDF.
Basically, add any PDF, any PDF or JPEG or any PNG. You can actually even add Excel files. The only difference between an Excel file and a PDF or इसकी PDF वगैरह सब आपको image की तरह दिख जाएंगे. Excel files will get saved as a file because obviously Excel file might have multiple sheets, multiple TA. So वो आपको फिर download करके ही देख सकेंगे आप. उसको obviously you cannot attach it like that.
यहाँ पे सेटिंग है, ड्रॉपबॉक्स सेटिंग आप चूज कर सकते हैं कौन से कंपनी में किसके साथ करना है. लिंक करने से ड्रॉपबॉक्स पूरा खुल जाता है यहाँ पे. तो आपका जहाँ ड्रॉपबॉक्स लिया हुआ है, ड्रॉपबॉक्स में आप लॉग इन करिए, तो you will be able to connect to your Dropbox account. This is a direct integration with Dropbox.
So the idea behind this integration is that, let's say in a collaborative environment, you have companies. So आपके जो clients हैं जहाँ पर आप हम जो outsourcing कर रहे हैं. So the outsourcing अभी तक most people क्या सोचते थे outsourcing is a month-end activity. It's not a month-end activity. It can be a daily activity. So people will just scan documents. So maybe the sales invoices can be done by the client themselves, but the sales invoices and maybe the receipts can be made by the client. But what about PO and all those purchase entries, expense entries, bank reconciliation, all of that? All they have to do is put those documents into Dropbox. It syncs into RealBooks, and then after that, all the documents come here, and you can actually do the entries. And जैसे से वो documents आते हैं, वैसे वैसे वो documents के जैसे से entry होती जाएगी, वो सब documents हटते जाएंगे, so that you don't repeat the document and do 2 entries against that same document, right?
Yeah. So you can see from here.
And if you, and I'll just highlight on the screen. Neeraj, 1 second. I'll just highlight one thing on the screen. If you see on the screen, just select one document. Neeraj. I'll just add one. Yeah.
You can do you can select which one you want to attach.
Yeah. So if you see, the screen is very, very similar designed to Tally. What Neeraj was saying, ki, the look and feel has been done that. अगर आप वो अगर document वाला part को हटा देते हैं, then the entire thing is something that will come very, very intuitively to every single accountant who's ever used Tally. उसको बहुत ही ज़्यादा intuitive लगेगा कि तो ऐसे ही बनाया हुआ ही है, वैसे ही कि आप ट्रायल बैलेंस से पूरा एंट्री तक जा सकते हैं, लेजर रिपोर्ट वैसे ही कर सकते हैं. Some short keys are similar, some short keys are different, but by and large, everything, you don't need to use any mouse or anything like that for any entry. So it's sort of designed in that manner. I think there is one more thing. Neeraj, if you just click on all on the menu bar, on the right, beach mein, So this is something what Neeraj had mentioned about there being multiple branches. So you can actually have multiple branches. You can generate branch-wise profitability if you want. You can actually make comparison of branch-wise profitability. And I think जो सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत, I don't know if all of you must be having clients जहाँ multiple tally files चल रहे हैं. So अगर multiple tally files क्यों चल रहे हैं? क्योंकि एक कंपनी में 4 लोकेशन है, चारों में अलग-अलग tally file है, उसको फिर जोड़ते रहते हैं, फिर उसका TDS बनाने के लिए कुछ करते हैं. So वो जो entire जो process है ना, वो आपका यहाँ ऑटोमेटिक हो जाता है. आपको क्योंकि ये चार्ट ऑफ अकाउंट्स रिमेन्स कॉमन, व्हिच इज द बिगेस्ट पेन एरिया, कि एक जन ने टेलीफोन एक्सपेंस बनाया, एक जन ने टेलीफोन एक्सपेंसेस बना दिया, एक जन ने टेलीफोन एंड इंटरनेट एक्सपेंसेस बना दिया. अब आप इन सबको एक्सेल पे मैच करते रहिए और जोड़ते रहिए. यहाँ पर अगर आप पीएनएल में जाएंगे, राहुल, नीरज, इफ यू जस्ट गो टू द पीएनएल वंस, पीएनएल, and choose without. So this is a regular report. इसको आप जैसे स्क्रिप्ट एंटर करके you can enter. But if you go to the segment wise columnar report that we have, and you choose let's say Ahmedabad, Bangalore, and Delhi, Calcutta, and select. नहीं अप्रैल टू अक्टूबर का नीरज. Yeah, so you will get this is how it comes, and if you just check box that ledger name here, it will open up the entire chart of accounts पूरा ऊपर में. So the entire chart of accounts comes in that manner that you have the companies, branches and everything there. You can see a comparison की branch A में क्या खर्चा था, B में क्या था, C में था, and the same thing works with the balance sheet, with the trial balance, everything. So the idea is that you have this multi-location concept as well. The same. So this is the more complicated thing. The easy one, जो आप single location, single ये कर रहे हैं, वो तो बहुत ही आसान से हो जाता है with the same concept that Tally had. I think the other thing we could show is with respect to attachments, etc. And so I think sorry, not attachments, Excel. So Neeraj, if we can just show the Excel upload wala part, then I think we should wrap up in terms of time. Maybe 5 minutes of Q&A. Yeah. So these are the various types of documents that you can upload. So you can upload a ledger master, you can upload a cost center, vouchers, items, price list, accounts vouchers, inventory vouchers, bank transactions, inter-branch entries, etc. These are all the different types you can upload. Once you upload them, then Rahul, can you just guide कौन से branch में एक बार जल्दी से we'll just show how the entries look when they are uploaded, maybe bank entries or something.
Sir, should I share my screen, sir?
नहीं, you can't.
Okay.
Neeraj के screen पे if you can just
Okay,
show,
so if you can go
Neeraj.
to Ahmedabad branch, this is the
Neeraj,
second
just go
branch.
quickly to Ahmedabad branch.
No, I think we're running out of time.
Actually, sir, we are almost approaching the time and we have other speakers.
अच्छा, okay. अच्छा, ठीक है. So what I would suggest, sorry, I think the demo went a little longer because there is always so much to show. But what we can do is if people can connect with us, we are available. I mean, I'm sure Sumit ji, you can share either my number or Neeraj's number also
Sure, we'll
with
do that,
everyone. And
Or
we'll be happy to
if
connect.
a small PPT or something can be shared, so we'll
Yes,
share
I
the
will do that.
participant.
We will do that. We will share our small PPT as well about RealBooks. And
Yeah, so what we are wanting to do is, since this seminar has been about empowerment, and we wanted to always empower our CA brothers and sisters to make more money through outsourcing. अभी हर business कहीं ना कहीं outsourcing
Sir,
ढूंढता
सबसे
है.
पहले to make more effective use of time.
हाँ,
So yeah, so this इसमें पूरा control आ जाता है. आप easily delegate कर सकते हैं काम को. आप easily revenues बढ़ा सकते हैं. time को better manage कर सकते हैं. Yeah, that's what it is.
so yeah.
So I really thank both of you, sir, for sparing time for us and demonstrating, because actually that creates a vision कि हाँ अपन क्या क्या कर सकते हैं. Because that was really nice, because I was even able to correlate that once we have made a TDS working, and if that Excel is attached, so every time we don't need to find कि कौन सी जगह saved था, because anywhere it can be downloaded after 4 years also. So that is a really very good point, which is actually useful.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
thank you.
Do we have time for maybe a couple of questions, Sumit ji, or should we?
If in case, as in we are running late, but in case there are questions, we can take one or two if in case there are any.
Okay. Sure. Otherwise,
Anybody would like to ask any question can unmute themselves, please. I think sir, there are no questions, because as in demo से तो questions आधा ऐसे ही कम हो जाता है sir. So I really thank you for your time and demonstrating the capabilities of the software, sir. We'll seek your requirements over a period of time also.
Absolutely.
It's not a one-time affair. With time, but the change will take some time to understand and then start with.
Yes,
so
yes.
It was really a pleasure being hosting you at our association, and I'll now quickly and briefly introduce Sarita ji, who's our next speaker, and she will be taking the session on cloud accounting and with respect to Zoho. She's already joined. Welcome, Sarita ji. So Sarita ji is a fellow member of ICAI, and she's been working for both Indian and US clients. I don't need to introduce much about her, and so her profile is also, in the interest of time, being displayed. But one thing which really interests me about this profile is that she has automated several man-hours of operation in her company, and even we have learned a lot from her. So it's always pleasure listening to her. Thank you, Sarita ji, and welcome to the study circle.
Thanks, Sumit, for such a good introduction. A very good evening to all. So let me introduce Sumit a bit, because he is introducing all of us. I have learned many things in Google and Google Workspace, specifically on Google Sheet, Gmail from Sumit. I have attended personally few of his sessions, and it's really amazing. It helps me to manage my day much better using Google stuffs and with help of Sumit. Whenever I have any query related to Google, yes, Sumit is the person to whom we can contact. So any one of you have any queries?
It's always better, very great to be inspired by somebody from whom we actually get inspired. So thank you for your kind words. So we can start the session. Thank you so much.
So today I would try to introduce one more cloud accounting software, which is Zoho Books. Now, even before coming to Zoho Books, let me try to put the concept of any cloud accounting software. So basically, Zoho Books is a cloud accounting software. Now, why do we need to move to cloud accounting software, there are so many questions which comes in the mind of the like chartered accountants or the users who have been using Tally for years. They have this question in mind, why suddenly all of us are just talking about moving to cloud accounting software and use less and less of on-premise software. So basically, it's the need of the hour wherein we need to shift our mindset from the traditional way of our working. In each and every step, the way we work, we need to think and we need to shift to what the way the world is moving and the way the things are coming up. So the benefit of cloud accounting software are so many that we can't avoid it. For example, like we faced so many things. Like I have been into cloud accounting software since the start of my career, like maybe back in 2004 when I started with my articleship. That time only I realized, since I was using Tally for my clients as well as cloud accounting software for my US based CPA firms, I realized like how different those two softwares are. Like if I was using any on-premise software, I had to be in front of my computer because I need that software to be installed. If it is not installed, I can't use it. Though many of the problems has been solved in this on-premise software, like now the data has been on cloud, but still it is Tally on cloud, it is not a cloud accounting software. If I try to explain the difference, when we talk about cloud accounting software, it means that you're just typing a URL in your like browser and it opens, same as your Gmail, same as Make My Trip, same as Zomato, whatever you are trying to do online. In the same concept, you just type a URL, you put your user ID and the password, and it is protected by the OTPs, and you start using the accounting software with the same look and feel and with the same easiness, the way you use your Gmail, Make My Trip, and we all have habit of using those. So we are very familiar to how these things work. So cloud accounting software, considering the security, it takes care of all these things. Now, so that is why we are more and more clients are looking to move to cloud accounting software such as Zoho Books. And the major benefit is if they have multiple branches, obviously they can just give the user ID and password. They can add them as a user for the different branches, and they can send them the user ID and password. They just need to log in from their place. It's all live. They don't need to wait that a backup would be taken and then they will be able to see, or the lag time of transactions being entered. Those things are totally eliminated if we try to use Zoho Books or such kind of different softwares. Now, and another benefit is, if anyone is into any kind of product industry, they can't escape it but unless they sell it online. Like most of us, if we are into any kind of product industry, we obviously try to sell our products in Amazon and such other sites. So these cloud accounting software allows you to integrate or to through API, we can integrate with all these online platforms, retail sales, so that you don't have to do double work. If you are creating an invoice in Amazon, it can be easily integrated with your Zoho book, so that any invoices which is created over there, the credits, the payment receipt, all can come to your Zoho books, and it makes your accounting easy. The way these softwares are moving forward, it is automating our accounting steps to such an extent that it becomes easy for us to proceed further and to think to grow our business. Now, let me share my screen and start with what we were trying to talk about. To start with, first of all, ICAI, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, they have arrangement with Zoho to provide the chartered accountants 3 of their softwares: Zoho Books, Zoho Expense, and Zoho Payroll, 3 years without any charges. And that too, they are providing us their premium login. Like for Zoho Books, they are providing us the elite plan. For payroll, they are providing us up till 25 employees. And for expenses, they are providing up till 10 users. So the best part is, first, we can explore the Zoho Books for our own organization by logging in without any extra charges, so that we are ourselves very well acquainted with this software. And then once we realize the importance and the benefits of these softwares, we are able to convince our client to convert into these softwares, which makes our work and the client's work easy. Believe me, these days I'm getting calls from so many like businesses who are converting their accounting software to Zoho Books. And the biggest problem which they are facing is they are not finding enough accountants yet in West Bengal who can take over their accounts in Zoho Books. But they want to use Zoho Books, but with this issue that they are not finding enough people for whom whom they can approach to, who can do their compliances and accounting using Zoho Books. So there's lots of opportunity for chartered accountants. If they try exploring these softwares, you can easily get books clients who is looking for each and every part of their like the work which a chartered accountant do, to outsource it, because they don't want to take this kind of pressures that they are doing the accounting, they are looking into the books health, and then the chartered accountants say that you pull everything in spreadsheet for me and then only I'll do the compliances because I don't want to use Zoho Books. So it's time for us to get into it, explore it, and get a bigger market for all of us. Now let's see. So I will share this link with Sumit. He can share with the participants, so that if they want, they can register for free and try to explore this accounting software. So I'm sharing this link in the chat. Later on, Sumit can email it to everybody as well. So from this link, you can click on Access Zoho Books, register it for free, and start using it. You need to give your either membership number or the firm's registration number to log in for free. Now let's see a few of the good features which Zoho Books has. Now, first of all, Zoho Books integrates with at least 4 banks 100%, so that you don't need to even log in into your bank once a month, and everything can be done just by your accounting software. That it is integrated with ICICI Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, HSBC Bank, and I do not remember one more banks, with which it allows you to make the payment to your vendors directly from here. It allows you to receive payment from the customer, send the customer the payment link, so that just by clicking on it, it can make the payment. And the best part is, when you are making payment to your vendors, or when you are your customer is paying you using Zoho Books, it itself passes the entries for you. So it is saving you time in both ways. One way, you don't need to log in into your bank and do the transaction. You can have the same customers, like all the vendors' bank details entered over here, so that when you want to make the payment, you can directly make from Zoho Books. Second thing is that your entries are also getting done. So you don't need to first find out which vendor did I pay, which invoice did I pay, and then you need to pass the entry. So whenever you are trying to pay a bill in Zoho Books, what you can do is, suppose I go to any bill over here. Let me open a bill. Provided I have all the bank details and everything set properly for a customer, I can go ahead and pay them online. Does this have any bill view? So I record the payment and I select the method of payment, and then I click on the bank through which I want to pay. If I see over here, it has these 4 banks which is integrated. So since I'm using ICICI Bank, I click on ICICI Bank. It asks me the OTP. The system is absolutely secure because it takes care of everything what bank does. So once you click on ICICI Bank Business Banking, they are logging you into the ICICI Bank portal and then making your payment. So it is giving you a platform wherein you don't need to log in. You are just putting your OTP or the MPIN, whatever is required, and the payment goes directly. As soon as you make the payment, this entry is itself recorded. Then the next step, let's go step by step. It syncs all your banking transactions. That means any transaction which you have done through the bank all comes over here. Like this client, it has 2,185 transactions which still needs to be added to the system. So all the transaction, whatever happens in your bank, you don't need to do anything. Every day it syncs itself. So if we see it is updated till today. So over here on the top, if I click on this bank, I can see both the things. What is my bank balance as of now? It is 8,662.12. And Zoho Books says minus 38 lakhs. That means this client is still way behind in the Zoho Books for updating the bank, but all the transactions are over here. When the client wants, it can select multiple transactions and add them to the books easily. There are so many transactions which they have paid through Zoho Books. So those transactions are already categorized. They just need to come over here, take one small step and accept the transactions. So as soon as we accept the transaction is already there in the system. We get couple of sections over here. One section is all the transactions which is categorized. Another section is the transactions which we still need to categorize. We check them. So suppose all these transactions are still we see that all these transactions are there in my bank because it is taking the feed from the bank, but I have not entered this transaction in my books. So what I do is I click on this transaction. It gives me enough details to understand if I have any such kind of bills which I have entered and it is a payment for that particular bill or for invoice. I see which bill has been paid against it. I just select it and I match it, or the invoice. So since this is a deposit, that means it is catching all the invoices which might be related to it. So if I know that this payment is related to invoice 455, I select this and I click on match. So my invoice receipt payment is automatically done and my banking transaction has been matched. If I do not think any of these transaction matches it, I can go and categorize manually over here the transaction the way I want. So the best part is, since Zoho Books is very sure that this transaction does exist in your bank statement, that is why the feed is giving us these transactions, your reconciliation work becomes very easy. When you go to reconcile the bank, all these transactions which has been accepted from the bank feed, it's auto checked, and just on 1 or 2 clicks, you can complete your reconciliation. And those reconciliations are saved in a PDF format so that it can serve as an audit tool as well. So this is one of the very good facility which Zoho Books has. Another thing is, since we are talking about banking and invoice transactions, let's go to first customers. So when you are setting up a customer, what happens many times, when you talk to your customer, they are looking either for the ledger, or if they are sending you any kind of estimate, or you are sending the estimate to your customer, you want a prompt response. And you also want your client to know what is due, what needs to be paid, what they have paid, and what all transactions they have done with you. Like at the year end, we need to send a statement of accounts to our client and such other things. So what Zoho Books does is, whenever you are creating a client, it has an option to create a customer portal. That means you can give your client access to a portal wherein they will be able to check the transactions related to them in that portal. So from here, when I have created the customer, I can create invite to portal. I just click on invite to portal. Only one thing is mandatory, that I need to have an email ID, because it recognizes each and every person through an email ID, and the request goes to their email so that they can create their own password and they can log in. They will surely have restricted transactions which they can see. They can just see the transactions done through them. What is their address in our system? If they think that their address has changed, they can change the address in their system, which we have provided them. It automatically changes in my system. So it saves so much of my time. I don't need, my client does not need to call me every time and ask me for a statement or the status of their work. Each and every part can be seen in their system. And the best part is, if we want, we can also take a testimonial from the client through that system. They can give us rating. How do they rate us? So this way, it helps us to have a feedback of the client as well. So these things are very helpful. Moreover, Now, after customer, let's move to invoicing. So when we are creating an invoices, and specifically if I talk about CA industry, we have many recurring transactions. So what are we presently doing? We are creating same transaction every month again and again. So suppose if we have 50 clients and they are retainership clients, we need to go and create the same amount invoice every month. We need to ask a person, did he create the invoice? Was the invoice sent to the client? So suppose I create invoice instead of first, I create on the 5th. And my person has to go manually and give them the invoice. Or even if they are emailing invoice, they slowly, one by one, go and send the invoice. So it delays your payment cycle as well. When the customer will receive the invoice, they will take few days and then they make the payment. Over here, what we can do is all those transactions can be set recurring in nature, so that on the day when you have set the recurring, the way you set the frequency, it will itself email the invoices to your customer. They have the invoice in the email box the day when you want. That way, it helps you to save your time in these works, which is unnecessarily taking you extra time. There are so many different not only invoices, any kind of expenses, any kind of revenue, any kind of expense, or like bank loan, the rent payment, which we think, any kind of bill which we want to create on recurring basis, which we think is of recurring nature, we can set them over here, so that as soon as we set those transactions, it itself takes care of on the monthly basis. We can set a deadline, when do we want this transaction to stop, or we want it to pause it after that particular date. So suppose it is a rent expense which we have set as a recurring transaction, but we know that after 3 years the amount will change. So what we can do is we can create a pause after 3 years, so that the recurring transaction stays over there. On a particular day we change the amount and we restart it. So all these makes our work simple and easy. So over here we have an option called recurring invoices. So we can go and set the recurring invoices, which is very simple. You just put the customer's name, the branch, entity type, profile name. Here is where you need to take special care. When do you want to create this invoice? Whether it is on a monthly basis, 2 weeks basis, or yearly basis, whatever the frequency is, we set it over here. After how many occurrences you want to stop this transaction, whether you want never to expire, or what is the start date, we set them all. We set the details over here of the items and other part, and we save it. As soon as we save it, this recurring transaction has been saved to be auto created based on the frequency which we have set it over here. And we give this template a name so that we can recognize this by that particular name. And if ever we want, we can edit it. Just a sec. So this way we can create the recurring transaction. Now, one more very good feature of Zoho Books is, in each and every kind of transaction, whenever you are creating, it allows you, let me add. It allows you to add attachment, whether it is an invoice, whether it is your bills, whether it is an expense, so that you can also make your office slowly and slowly paperless. So suppose you are creating an invoice, you have some kind of NDA, or you have some kind of arrangement with this customer, which you have signed. So might be you have shared the Word document and each one of you went over it, you created PDF and you digitally signed it, but still you need to save it somewhere. Instead of depending upon your computer or creating a folder structure where you want to save those documents, you can rather come over here and attach those documents, so that it is all at one place. Whenever you need this document, whether it is today, whether it is after 1 year, whether it is after 2 years, you don't need to find it at different places. Everything is at one place. You can just upload your document over here. And it is more precisely very helpful in case of expenses and bill. So whenever we create a bill or whenever we create an expense, obviously it has a base through which we have made that payment. After some time, time we might lose some bills, we might lose some receipts specifically related to credit card charges and all. And it when the auditor comes in, it looks for those transactions or those paperwork. We are not able to provide them very handy, or we need a person who can assist the auditor to check those documents. But if we have everything attached over here, we don't need a separate person to assist them. It's all readily available, and they can just go and get those documents attached, and they can check whatever they want. So it helps the auditor also to complete their work faster. So thinking from our perspective, if we are since we are chartered accountants, we are looking forward for those documents from our client. How helpful it would have been if our client is into such kind of accounting software, and we get them into an habit of attaching all the documents. So when we are going for an audit, we don't need to be physically present at client's office. Sitting at our office, we are also not looking for any documents from them. We have everything in their software, and it helps us to complete our work with less interaction and waiting time, because we don't need to wait for them to find the documents. Now, on this case only, I'll give you a practical case study, which I actually faced. I was into a consulting project with one of the CA firm, and like the CA who was the proprietor of that firm, his laptop suddenly stopped working, and the laptop was not even 6 months old. Now, the person wanted to contact the vendor so that they can send the person, or they can have the laptop repaired as soon as they can. But he did not have the invoice handy. He called the admin person said, give me some time, I'll look into the bill and give it to you. And it took them 2 hours to find the bill and get to the CA so that they can send it to the vendor for repair. But how helpful it would have been, and how much time they could have saved if that bill was attached when they purchased the laptop. So this way, there are small little things which helps us to automate and to stop unnecessary time wastage here and there. In the same way, when we talk about invoicing over here, it helps us to brand ourselves while we are creating invoicing and sending to the customer. The invoices can be customized over here. We can add our logo, we can change the color theme. If we want, we can add a specific field over here which is not present. So suppose we want to manage a salesperson name. Each and every invoice has a particular salesperson or a technician name whom we want to add. So we can add those customized field by settings, which will help us to organize our invoice much better, and our customer can get much more details regarding our business. Once we set it over here, we can have our website name over here, we can have our logo, we can have a color theme, whatever way we want to change it, it can be changed. Now, let's go to some other thing. We spoke about customer portal, we spoke about attachment, we spoke about invoicing. Yes, GST. So GST filing has been made very easy with Zoho Books. We don't need to log in into GST portal separately if we want to file our GST return. Once we have set Zoho Books well with GST, that means if we are creating a vendor and it has a GSTN number, we put the GSTN number there and then. If we are having a customer with a GST number, we put the GSTN number in. And when we are setting up the customer or the item, we consider the GST percentage and those things are set well. So what happens is whenever we are creating any transaction, it itself takes care of the GST stuff. And when you are trying to file the return, you are just putting your user ID and password of GST site over here. It pushes all your transaction from here to the GST site, and you're just checking it once and filing the return. So it makes your work so easy. So for this client, if we see over here, all their GSTR1 details is attached over here. They did not have to do anything, and it is in exact format the way we have for in the GST portal. So this client is having B2C small sales, small invoices, and the taxable amount, CGST, SGST. If you want, you can go in and check the details over here. Once you are all convinced that whatever transaction is over here is all good, the next step which we need to do is we need to go and push to GSTN site. We just put in the user ID and password of the GSTN site, and we click the button push to GSTN. It takes all my transactions from here to the GSTN site. So my site is all ready, and the best part is we do not face the hassle of once we file the GST return, we go and then reconcile our accounting software. Many times what happens is we are in work pressure. So we first file the GST return, we pull the PL balance sheet from the accounting software, we calculate in spreadsheet. Based on the spreadsheet, we file the return. We forget about the accounting software. We again rework those things at the year end when it's time to finalize the books. So it's until that time, there's so many things which we do not remember. Again, we need to work the entire thing out and then submit the return. How good it would have been that we don't need to take out things and then work out in Excel. We see that everything is well settled in our accounting software and we just push the transactions. Since we are not even pulling any report to first work out in spreadsheet, whatever we need to check, whatever we find the mistake, we correct in the system itself, and we just click on push to GSTN site. We know that since we have filed our return through the through Zoho Books, my both things are reconciled. Zoho Books and the GST portal are all reconciled, and at the year end, I don't need to do the double work of reconciling the GST numbers. So GST over here is really easy. It has all the different forms of GST, GSTR1, GSTR3B, GSTR2A, all the returns can be filed from here. Provided you have set all your customers, vendors, and your items correctly, whether it is service item, whether it is product item over here with all the details, whatever is required for a GST invoice or a GST return. It also has the e-invoicing features, which is now mandatory for clients having more than 10 crores of sales, I suppose. So you can push the e-invoices from here to the site directly where you need to upload the e-invoicing. It also helps you to identify if you miss any field or you miss any information which is compulsory for you for the invoicing. It will give you the error message, you need to complete it, and then it helps you to push it to the e-invoicing site directly from here. So all the things can be done at one place so that it does not, you do not have to rework on anything. So if the invoicing is done over here and you are pushing it into the system, that means you're reconciling both the things together. Your accounting software is not different from your all the government sites. They all should reconcile because that is what we do at the year end with the work pressure. We have to complete the compliances. We have to reconcile the books so that it matches with your audit report and all those stuffs. So these can be well maintained in this kind of system from the very first day when we are starting with our accounting from 1st of April. Now, another very good feature of Zoho Books is it has so many different reports which can be customized further. And any report which we are looking for, we do not need to pull a report in an Excel, then work it out as per our need, and then we see the report. First of all, as soon as you log in into Zoho Books, in the homepage itself, you get so many information if we are using it properly. Like, just a minute, let me take you to another client. So we have our total receivables, we have all our payables over here, we see our cash flow position, we can see our bank balances, what is incoming, what is outgoing on from a particular date. And if we want, we can change the date range. So suppose I want to see for this fiscal year, I can come and change it. It gives me a graphical presentation with mouse over. If I put the mouse over, it gives me the information for that particular month or period. Then we come over here, we see all our income and expenses, and everything has mouse over because it is a live feed. We can directly have the mouse over and see information for each and everything. We can see the accrual and the cash basis data over here. We can see our top expenses, and all these are customizable. If I want to remove a particular expense and put some other expense over here, we can do so. We can do that as well. Now, if we want, we can also make some changes to the portal so that whenever we want, we can customize it. So here in a summary, we can know our business very well. If we are we'll come to project just after this, and then we can see what all different banks we have. Each bank balance can be very well checked over here. We can add, if we have some account which we want to have a regular watch list, we can check it over here. We can add those over here, and those all can be seen over here as account checklist. If we know that this ledger is something which, so suppose you have a main bank which you really want to have a quick watch list every day. So you can add those bank over here. If you want a certain expenses, you don't want it to cross a certain limit, you can add it over here so that you can track it on a regular basis. So now along with this, Zoho, this was just a dashboard which helps us. But besides that, if you go to report section, you have so many different reports over here. It has more than 50 plus reports, which is available without any customization readily for us. Like if you want to see, let's see any details. Let's see a payable summary report. So if we come over here, we see all the payables, what is payable with our particular, like with different vendors, how many days of overdue, the total balance, and the balance for previous year, current year. And if we want, we can customize it further. It's not only restricted to what it is providing, it helps us to customize. If we want a particular column, we want to hide a column, all these options are available with each and every report. Once we customize the report, we can save the custom report. If we know that for our industry, we want to customize this report, and that is the report we want to see every time, what we can do is we can customize and save that report so that we don't have to again and again customize it. All the customized report can be seen over here, what we have customized. And best part is any report which you customize or whatever report you want, you can have it emailed to yourself or to the third person on a particular date and time. So suppose you want your profit and loss and balance sheet to be emailed to you on fortnightly basis or on monthly basis. After certain customization, you can have the system email those reports, which is readily in your email whenever you want. Whenever you want, you can again like pull the reports, but it also allows you to like set it as a recurring transaction so that it itself comes to your inbox without any effort. Moreover, Zoho also has another reporting tool which is called Zoho Analytics. Now, suppose if you want a very high level MIS reporting or a management report or an investor report, you can take the data from here to Zoho Analytics, and there you can customize your report to a great extent. What we say as a dashboard reports or management report, which is like customizable to a great extent. Not only like suppose you have 4 or 5 different companies, you want to see all those companies' profitability, income, expenses all together. All those 4 or 5 companies can be brought together into Zoho Analytics and give you a consolidated report of your entire company, like your entire business, whether it is 1 company, 2 companies, 3 companies, 4 companies. If we have multiple companies, all the companies can be brought together and a consolidated overview of the business can be checked from there. Now, this was about reporting. Next is documents. Zoho Books has an auto scan feature. We can either upload the document or we can scan the document, obviously with some extra cost. So suppose we are now extensively using credit card for our purchases, and many of them can be related to business as well. We might lose that, and then later on we don't know for what purpose did we do that expense, or we might miss to consider those expense in the business. So what we can do is Zoho also has mobile app Zoho Books, which allows you to do many things just by using the mobile app on the go. So you can scan that document which you receive or the receipt when you use it anywhere, and it uploads over here. So the scanner also allows you, once you scan the document and you use it, that since I do not have any document right now, I'm not able to show you, but it auto reads your feed from that scanned document and you can either create expense, or you can create a bill, you can create an invoice, whatever you want. It allows you to do that with that transaction. It takes all the major items like the customer's name or the vendor's name, the date of the invoice, amount, item, description, all the things is auto-feeded. You just need to have a quick check, click on it, and your entry is done. So to that extent, you can use Zoho Books. So basically, if I talk in a nutshell, what is these softwares allowing us to do is to stop the manual work, to stop the work which is more of data entry nature, and help us automate those stuff so that we can focus on much better and bigger things which we always want to do. Now, besides that, Zoho also has Zoho projects. With Zoho projects, what we can do is, if we are working on any project, like suppose if we have a big audit, we know that that audit will go for 2 months or 3 months. What we can do is we can create steps over here for the project by putting the customer's name and the employees who are involved into that. We can give this project name, suppose bank audit or any audit, stock audit or internal audit. So we can give the project the name with the customer's name over here, the billing method, what is the cost budget, what is the revenue budget, and which all users will be involved in this project. We can give them access to only that project. Without giving them access to the entire books, we can give them access to that particular project. And here we can create the task. What all task is admin related, what all task is billable to the customer, we can create them all and save it. So once we have started a project in Zoho Books, it helps us to track the time and each and every step of that particular project. Plus, if we are receiving any advance out of that project, we can receive that advance as a retainer invoice into Zoho Books. So that whenever you create an invoice for the customer, so suppose you have received an advance of 10,000 and later on you want to create an invoice of 50,000. So you don't need to remember that I need to adjust that 10,000 which was given as advance into this invoice. It will itself add that retainer invoice, that is an advance payment, into your regular invoice which you create. And if you do not want to adjust that advance against that invoice, you can remove it and send the entire invoice of 50,000. So basically it helps you in the big project to understand the profitability of a particular project. You can have the entire timesheet of the project. And moreover, so suppose it is an audit, you will see how would the time be recorded. The article or the team member who is doing the audit is at the client side. We know that every one of us are using a smartphone this day, and with an internet, even in the remote locations, internet is now easily available. They can have the mobile app installed of Zoho Books and record their time directly from the site wherever they are going, and it gets updated in our system. So we exactly know the status of the project without having to call the users or the team member that what is the status of the project. Yes, surely we need to have our entire team buy with this system, start using the system, and get into the detail of the system. Like if someone does not input the data, obviously we can't expect the output to come in. To have the result, what do we want? We have to follow a certain strict rules, which we all are following on daily basis, including us. So from top to bottom, if the top level management records their time and have the project well balanced, like each and every task, whatever it is getting completed, they complete these steps. So even the downline will follow, and we can have a good overview of a particular project. What actually did we make the profit? What was the budget cost which we had allocated? And at the end of the project, what was actual cost which was incurred? And what was the revenue? And what is the profitability? The time spent? How can we optimize the steps in the later projects? All can be very well understood and taken care of. Now, so the way we saw this thing is it helps us to save the documents. All your document log can be done over here. So it works it serves the purpose of what we have done, like what we do using Google Drive or such things. So many things which we save in Google Drive and those kind of stuffs can be automatically saved here, and it can work as a storage place for us as well. Now, many times we get a question that, do we need to purchase Zoho books for each of our clients separately? Yes. Anything which is on cloud in a SaaS model, that has to be for an individual company. So even if you have 5 companies, you need to have 5 different Zoho books purchased for each company. And then you can have all those 5 companies into one login. So what you need to do is, so suppose you are an accountant for all those 5 companies. With your one email ID, for all those 5 companies, you share them the same email ID. They give you the user permission in that particular email ID, and you can add them. So what will happen is, all those login will be shown over here. For example, if I just show you, over here, what you see is, just a minute, over here, I can show you, yes. So this is my own login, and I have added my client over here. The same way I can add all my multiple clients over here, so that I don't need to remember the user and ID and password for each of my client. What I just need to do is, I come over here by clicking on drop down, and if I'm done working on one particular client, I can directly go to the other client from here itself. So I don't need to remember the multiple login. And this way we can work on different clients' book. Here you can see all the like logins, and if any client has given you the access, you can add a new organization directly from here. Let me go back. I will now take you to these settings. So suppose you want to add a new user over here, you can go to the settings and we can add the new users over here. So from here, if you click on the settings, you have so many different options over here. So based on what you want to do, you can go to that particular setting and accordingly make the changes. So suppose I wanted to add a user, I go to users and roles and I invite the user. Here the invitation is totally based on email ID. You have to have a unique email ID if you want to send a request to anyone. You can define the role, and even in a defined role, you can make more edits and create your own user roles which you want to give access to. So suppose all the roles which is defined over here, none of them suffice the purpose to a particular user which you want to give. So what you can do is, you can create your own roles and then define what all that person can do, and based on that give a role name, and that particular role can be given to a user. So these are the defined users which they have created. What I can do is, I can create a new role name and then check each and every part what all access I want to give. So suppose I want to just give a customer access to a particular user, I can uncheck all of them and just give them a particular part of the software access. So they will just be creating invoices. So this part of information should be good enough for them. So I can create a small role for this, and then I can go there and add them as a user over there. The same way, if I want, like, let me go to preferences over here. If I want to check any of the buttons, so suppose I wanted to create a retainer invoice, which I was saying you, while using the project, I know that I will be receiving advances and I want them to be added as advances. I will switch on this feature, retainer invoices over here. So I can receive advances in any big projects. Same way, if I want to create tasks, like if we try to use this software to a great extensively, we can see that if we are managing different things from different places, all can be managed just from one place. So I can create my task for myself, which can be non-billable, which is not related to any customer, which is just related for me to remember my task, which I want to do on daily basis. So I can just switch on this feature so that the task can be created and it can remind me. Same way here you have features. So if I come over here, you have features of e-invoicing, which you can start. You need to enable e-invoicing and then you need to set it up properly. So once you set it up properly, it works for you. But yes, the preference section is very important, wherein you need to go and you need to see that you are designing it or you are setting it up all well. You can also create the e-way bill directly from settings, like by Zoho Books. You just need to come over here, have the feature on, and then it will be all ready for creating e-way bill as well. It also allows you to work with multiple currency. You can have one home currency and then you can add multiple currencies so that you do not confine yourself only to one particular country. You can do business with any different countries. You can send them invoices in their currency directly from Zoho Books and have the reporting in your own currency. So it gives you the entire reporting in your own currency by converting them and by passing the entries to exchange, foreign exchange loss and gain, so that you don't face problem on understanding with different currencies what is actually my revenue, what is my expenses, what is my net profit. It combines everything and give you reports in your home currency. Same way you can add branches, you can add multiple GST GST and number into the site, so that if you have different companies with different GST, like if you have the same company with different branches, but the GST and number are different, all can be added at one place so that you can have a detailed reporting. Moreover, if your multiple location has the same GST and number, then also you can have branches so that you can have a branch reporting well set over here. So this way we have endless options available over here. We have a developer space. So if you really want to customize Zoho Books, you see a particular thing, you think that you need that and you're not finding it in Zoho Books. It can be anything, like you want a customized email to be sent to your customers. So if you want to design those things, you have a developer space over here wherein anyone who knows a little bit of coding or can search Google and can get the codes from there and put it over here. So it will work as per your needs. So it has those options as well, which can develop more and more advanced version of Zoho Books for us to take care of it. Now it allows you to take the entire data backup if you want. So the fear of that, what will happen with of my data if I do not want to continue with Zoho Books, it becomes very easy for you to take the entire backup in such a format which can be easily imported to any other software. Presently, what happens when we try to convert any client which are using on-premise desktop software, which does not provide the reports in a proper Excel format, there's lots of struggle which we need to do. First, we need to pull those data into Excel, then arrange them well, clean it. We need to have an advanced Excel knowledge, then arrange it, and then upload it into Zoho Books or such a cloud accounting software. But if you are using Zoho Books or such other cloud accounting software, when you take the data backup, it comes in such a good formatted way that if you are trying to move from one software to other, your work becomes very easy. It helps you to integrate all of them together, and it is easily like kind of switchable from one software to the other. Moreover, what I was initially saying you is it integrates with so many different APIs. Whatever you think, their own Zoho itself has more than 50 softwares. You can, all these softwares integrates with your Zoho book. So suppose you are using Zoho Expense, wherein you manage all your different kind of expenses, but you don't need to double book those entries. Once you are using Zoho Expense, your entries are there. It will integrate with Zoho Books, and all those entries with itself come into your Zoho Books. Same way, if you are using Zoho Payroll, if you are a big team size of 50 employees and so on, you want to have a different payroll software which gives you many other features. So if you are using Zoho Payroll, you create your employees over there, you run the payroll of your employees over there, it can again be integrated with Zoho Books so that all your payroll entries will itself come into Zoho Books and you don't need to pass those entries again. Same way, there are so many different softwares which I can give as an example, like Zoho Inventory and Zoho CRM. Each and every software of Zoho can be integrated with Zoho Books. Same way, not only Zoho related apps, but other apps outside third-party apps can also be integrated with Zoho Books to work for you, so that you don't have to like kind of create double work for yourself. So why is it integrating G Suite, Gmail, Office 365? So that if you want your customer sending you, like your vendor sending you bills, you want to send your invoices to the customers, all those can be integrated so that anything coming in your email, you create the rule, those itself gets into the system and it works for you. So all those things can be done. So if you have your Gmail or Google Calendar all set and you want that all your contacts should come over here with all the details, it can all be integrated with Google. Same way, so many different apps, which is like, as I said in the beginning, the retail store, the Amazon and different kind of app wherein you sell your products, all can be integrated over here, whether it is a restaurant business, whether it is a product business, any kind of business can be accommodated over here to help us not to do any duplicate kind of work. So this was a small synopsis of Zoho Books, which I have been using extensively for last 5 years. There's so many opportunities if I know this software, because very recently I found some big size clients who are into Zoho Books, and the problem which they are facing is that they are not finding accountants on Zoho Books. So if we really know this software well, we are ready to adapt it, we are having so many clients looking for us. So this was a small summary from my side on Zoho. If we have any questions, we can take it so that we can end the session on time. I know it's a Saturday evening and everything's to run.
Thank you, Sarita ji, for the wonderful deliberation. One may think that why Zoho every time? Because I think to take a test drive, you need to have a car. So the car primarily could be Maruti because it is one of the highest selling cars. So in same way, when we think about a cloud software, the first thing probably people tend to remember is Zoho because of its service and abilities to, deliver to clients. So I, on behalf of the study circle, I would like to formally give you a vote of thanks initially first to you and all the members being there in the meeting. And would like to give you a brief that tomorrow we have a session, which is the last leg of the entire program, where we'll be trying to take up Tally and a TDL of Tally. Like, so there's some utilities of Tally by which we can export data from Excel to Tally. So a 2000, typically speaking, a 2000 line item, if worked properly on an Excel, can be imported into Tally in a span of 30 to 45 minutes, including the customization is concerned. So again, as Sarita ji has mentioned in her profile that she has automated man hours, so this can be a process to automate man hours because of the capabilities. So I'd request you to, if you are in Calcutta, please join us at our library, VIPCA library. And I thank Sarita ji for the deliberation. And in case anyone has a question, we'll be love to address them. So I think there are no questions, Sarita ji. Would you like to conclude anything, or we can wrap up the session?
I would just like to thank Sumit and VIP Study Circle to give me this opportunity. I would say that yes, you should explore this software. Try using it. If you face any problem, you can always contact me. I want more and more people to use it, because it really feels bad when I go to a client and they are looking for accountants of the firms who can take over their books on Zoho, but we do not have those readily available. They try to find people, but they are not able to find. So we really need more and more people knowing these softwares.
And again, even I had worked for a startup, so they were more keen to work on Zoho because of the automated function that the bank could have synced easily.
Right.
And of the multi-location facility.
Yeah.
So
Not
things
restricted
like
to
this
any
are actually
location.
very helpful.
Yeah.